and welcome back to Modelverse Studio. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And here we are with the latest GQuuuuuuX kit, and this one is the GMS Omega GQuuuuuuX Endymion Unit Awakened. In other words, is the final version of the GQuuuuuuX. Also, I want to mention that it's been a year since we started this channel, and in reality, it doesn't seem like that long ago. But here we are, still going at it. And whether you're new or old, I am glad that you're here with us. And let's try for new things and do my best to get better at this. Also, it is quite a coincidence that after a whole year, the kit that we started with was the GQuuuuuuX, and this time we're reviewing the Endymion Unit Awakened. So let's go ahead and get started with this review. At first glance, it looks just the same as the normal version, but of course there are differences. We can see right here on the face, it looks kind of scary. It looks like a skeleton actually. Here we have these orbs things. And of course, since this is a collaboration of the studio that made Evangelion, we can definitely see the reference right here. This totally screams Evangelion, even if you didn't know. Still, I like it. This is the 13th kit in the lineup. Let's take a look at the side images. Here we have our action poses. Here we see the head, and it is made for a newly molded part. And here are the gimmicks. And just like the normal GQuuuuuuX, we get the booster, we get the backpack, the beam rifle, shield, 2 sets of hands, the beams, beam holders, and here are the new pieces. And on the other side, we get the front and rear views. Now, let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. This time, we got 4 bags of runners, our manual, closer look at the artwork, our description down here. On the back, our cool action poses, a closer look at the new parts, our color guide, that is a lot of runners. A lot of the parts on these runners are going to be the same as the normal GQuuuuuuX. Of course, except for the parts that are new. These are the parts for the effects. It is a little hard to tell, but this is one of those new parts. This is the open mouth. Here's our decal sheet. Same as the normal GQuuuuuuX. Our sticker sheet, we get to pick from 2 types of eyes, mouths, and we can either go with the Pomeranian or CN logo. And here for the stickers for the mouth, we get to pick 2 types. I'm going to go with the blue one and the green eyes as they appear on the box art. Now, you want to be careful with these small pieces. I almost lost this piece a couple times. It just kept slipping out. And then here it can open its mouth a little bit. These rub-on stickers are a bit time consuming, so they do take a while to put on, but do take your time because they are very fragile. If you're able to get the water decals, I would go for those instead. These are probably the worst. Now the backpack is what makes the core fighter, and it is just by adding this tip right here, and that is it. Now you have a core fighter. Obviously this will look a lot cooler by painting it and adding more color separation. And here is the final build of the Endymion Unit Awakened. Now this kit took a lot longer to build than I anticipated. Definitely not a beginner friendly build. However, it was still very fun. The GQuuuuuuuX is definitely one of my favorite kits because of how much complexity the kit has, which can be fun but also frustrating at times. First off, let's go ahead and look at the gimmicks. So it comes with its shield, same as the GQuuuuuuX, nothing different here. The beam rifle, which again, it is the same one as the GQuuuuuuX. Our heat hawk, 2 beam swords in this shiny glittery plastic. The core fighter, an extra set of hands. So one closed and one opened. This piece right here, which is like a gun rack to hold the rifle. And of course, the second head. This one is the closed version. So in reality, you do get quite a lot. And also, let's not forget these things right here. The disc effects. Let's go over the articulation of the Awakened version. So pretty much we're going to get the same thing as the GQuuuuuuX since it is the same body. The articulation on the Awakened version is actually pretty much the same as the normal GQuuuuuuX, which is great. That was one of the first things that actually stood out when I was building the kit. Let's take a closer look at the head. The range of motion is actually quite good. It could look almost all the way up. Can tilt down. Of course, side to side. One thing you have to be careful though, especially in the open version, is the V-fin right here. It easily falls off. At least on mine it does. Which is why I'm trying to be careful not to really touch it. Even with the effects on, the shoulders really don't get in the way too much. You can still do this. And of course, if you want to move it up, you just tilt it this way. I really like the gold trim right here. Now, let's take a closer look at those effects. They actually look really, really cool in person. Also, something to really pay attention to is the high level of detail this kit has, especially on the face. Earlier, I mentioned how this kit is not really beginner friendly, and that is very true. And for one, the head is composed of many, many little parts, and if you're not careful, you can really easily lose them or break them. Another thing are the rub-on decals, but since they are quite small, they are also very delicate, so it's going to take more than one try to get them right. So be ready to spend over an hour just putting these on. But once everything's all done, it is well worth it. Attaching the shield is very easy. It just goes right here. One thing to notice is that this kit is really not all that sturdy. As you can see right here, it's a little bit loose on the joints. At least on that hand. This one is a little bit better. Again, it could just be the one I got. Equipping the rifle is really easy. It is just wedged between the hands, as you can see right here. All done. And of course, we couldn't finish this review without comparing it to the normal GQuuuuuuX. Here they are, side by side. As you can see, identical, and that is because they are the same kit. Of course, the only key differences would be the effects of the awakened version and the opened head. Besides that, I don't think I see anything different. Weapons are the same, shield is the same, beam swords are the same. Now, if you could get your hands on one version, I would actually say get the awakened version. Also, something that I should have mentioned earlier is that since both of these kits are the same, on the awakened version, you are going to get some of the same runners as the normal GQuuuuuuX version. And here we can see some of those pieces that are not used in the awakened. This is the shoulder pieces, as you can see right here. On the D-Runner, we have a couple of pieces for the head. Here are the sides, the bottom jaw, the top of the head, the small red part of the face. Runner A has the yellow pieces of the head, and Runner B has the gray pieces. So with all these pieces, I think we can actually build the open head state. So let's go ahead and see if we can build that. With the extra pieces in the runners, you could actually build an extra head, therefore getting 3 heads in this kit. Here we have the normal open state, and you still only get 1 open B fin, so that would have to be shared among the normal open state and the awakened open state. Also, since our sticker sheet has an extra set of eyes, you could actually use those. Here are the closed shoulders, the other pieces for the legs. So with all these, we can actually build a normal GQuuuuuuX. And here we are, without the special effect pieces, we actually get a normal GQuuuuuuX. So back to my previous question, if you could only get one kit, which one would it be? I actually now would say just get the awakened one. With it, you actually get all faces. Not only would you get the pieces to make the awakened version, but you also get the pieces to make the normal one. Of course, you're going to be short on stickers, but if you buy the water decals, then you'll be fine. Final thoughts. Another very well made kit, and one that you definitely need to get your hands on. One, because of how detailed this kit is. This kit has a lot of parts, and if you're not careful, it is really easy to lose some of them. So if you're building this one, or if you build the GQuuuuuuX, then you would know. Just take your time and be very careful, especially when putting on those rub-on decals. They can be a bit frustrating, but the end result is well worth it. I really am looking forward to the next GQuuuuuuX kit. Also, with all the GQuuuuuuX kits that we've built so far, I do want to visit some of the previous ones and add some customized work to them. Do let me know which one I should revisit. But until then, thank you for joining me in another video. Have a nice day, take care, and I'll see you in the next one.